Okay, so let us discuss now our problem on arithmetic gradient. So first problem, let me read to you. A contract has been signed to lease a building at 20,000 pesos per year with an annual increase of 1,500 pesos for 8 years. Payments are to be made at the end of each year starting 1 year from now. The prevailing interest rate is 7%. What lump sum paid today would be equivalent to the 8-year lease payment plan? So basically, there will be an annuity here. So aside from that uniform payment, there will be an increase. So that refers to the gradient. Now the question here is the lump sum paid today, which is the present worth of the cash flow. So let us create here a cash flow wherein the first payment will be equal to 20,000 pesos. So that would be until 8 years. So we have here 8 years, ano? So with this initial payment, this shall increase up to the 8th year. Say this one 1 to 8 with an arithmetic gradient of 1,500 pesos. Okay, so key things to remember here, we do not need to calculate yung last dito, no? All we need here is the initial cost and the gradient. So we know that this is a combination of the formula of the gradient and the annuity. If we are going to flatten this, flatten this. We flatten this. Yan, 20,000 yan. At ito yung magiging increase. Okay? So these are the increases. Okay, up to 8, no? Now we will just stick to the formula that the present worth of the gradient is equal to the present worth of the annuity and the present worth of the increasing gradient. So ito pwedeng plus or minus kasi ito it could be increasing or decreasing. So in this case it is increasing. Okay? Say our P refers to the equivalent payment of this increasing payment from the first year up to the 8th year. So formula tayo ng A. Our annuity is 20,000 times finding P given A at 7% at 8 plus the gradient 1,500 times finding P given G at 7% at 8. So we further expand it by the corresponding formula. P is equal to 20,000 times the numerator 1 minus 1.07 is to negative 8 all over 0.07 plus 1,500 times yung formula nito is 1 all over I times the numerator 1.0 or 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 all over 0.07 minus n na 8. So we close that one. Actually, this expression is for the future. So we bring that to the present. We just multiply it by 1.07 raised to negative 8. So let us now calculate. So the first term will yield to 119,425.97. While that of the second term is 28,183.41. So i-add mo lang yan. That will be the value of P. So that would yield to 147,609.38. So the answer here is this one. Okay? So moving on to the next problem. So let me read the problem. Neighboring parishes in Louisiana have agreed to pool road tax resources already designated for bridge refurbishment. At a recent meeting, the engineers estimated a total of $500,000 will be deposited at the end of next year into an account for the repair of old and safety questionable bridges throughout the area. Further, they estimate that the deposits will increase by $100,000 per year for only 9 years thereafter. Then cease. Determine the equivalent present worth if the public funds earn an interest rate of 5%. So in this case, there will be a provision for refurbishment of the bridges on Louisiana. Yung estimate nila is for the first year will be 500,000, and for the next 9 years it will be increasing with an amount of $100,000. So basically we'll just have to establish our diagram here. Say for the first year we have an amount of how much? $500,000. So this is 500,000. And then ito nag-increase to with 100,000. So basically dapat indicate natin that this will be the first year. And then for 9 years, from this amount for 9 years, mag-increase siya ng 100,000. So therefore, if we look at the cash flow diagram, there will be an increasing gradient here. Okay. So we will add 9 to that. So from 1, there will be 9 years pa, no? So there will be 10th year here with an increasing gradient of $100,000. So we have here 100,000. So ito, we will just apply the formula for the gradient. So ano ba yung formula? So present worth ang kinukuha dito. So the total present worth will be equal to the equivalent present worth of the annuities, which is 500,000. Since positive yung gradient natin dito or increasing, so we just add that one, the gradient, ano? So PT is equal to yung notation natin dito, of course lagging yung una, no? So 500,000 times finding P given A at 5% at 10-year period, plus yung gradient natin is 100,000 times finding P given G at 5%. Okay, 10 din yan. And then we are going to expand and apply the formula. So ito 500,000. So the formula in here is 1 minus 1.05. This would be raised to negative 10 all over 0.05 as our rate of interest. And then we add this one, 100,000. And the formula in here is 1 all over I, diba? A over 1 over I, that is 0.05. And then we have 1.05 raised to 10, okay, minus 1 all over 0.05 minus n tayo, no? N, this is 10. So we still have to multiply this by the single payment present worth factor because ito future yan. We have 1.05 raised to negative 10. So this is negative 10. Negative 10. Then we compute for the value of the total present worth. We have these values: 3,860,867.47 for the first term, and the second term will be 3,165,204.79. So if we are going to add that one, that would yield to 7,026,072.26. Alright. So if we are going to have the nearest, we have this answer. Okay. So moving on to the next problem. So let us read the problem. We have the announcement of the HAC Cement Factory states that the $200 million investment is planned for 2012. Most large investment commitments are actually spread out over several years as the plant is constructed and production is initiated. Further investigation may determine, for example, that the $200 million is a present worth in the year 2012 of anticipated investment during the next 4 years, 2013 through 2016. Assume the amount planned for 2013 is $100 million with constant decreases of $25 million each year thereafter. So as before, assume the time value of money for investment capital is 10% per year. In equivalent present worth values, does the planned decreasing investment series equal the announced $200 million in 2012? So meron tayong cash flow. So of course, the cash flow shall start with the year 2012, ano? Say this is 2012. So if we can see, there will be an anticipated investments right after this year, 2013 to 2016. Say this is 2013. This is 2014. This is 2015. And say this is 2016. So there will be 4 years, ano? So the announcement of the HAC company is that there will be $200 million investment. So magkakaroon tayo ng $200 million investment. So that is an investment. So basically that is a cash outflow for the perspective of the company. Say this is $200 million. So with this, if we can see, assume the amount planned for 2013. Yung planned amount sa 2013 is $100 million. Okay. So ito. So meron tayo dito $100 million. 100M na lang. Say, I think this is 200M. 200M. And then, ito, it will decrease hanggang 2016. So, there will be a gradient here. So, I'm going to draw a line here. Gradient yan na pababa. With a uniform decrease per year of 25 million. So let us put that in to the cash flow. G is equal to $25 million. So question is yung plan ba na 200 million will equate to this amounts ng gradient? Okay. Does the plan decreasing investment? Ito yung decreasing investment. So, they're going to invest so that it will be compared to the 200 million initial investment here. So, that is the question. So, basically, all of this gradient will be put into the present and will be equated to 200 million, ano? So, pa-backwards natin yun. Kunin natin yung kanyang present worth. Say, ang notation yan is 100 million. Finding P given G at 10%, no? 10% with 4 years. Okay. Plus, of course, ito dapat is the gradient value itself, which is $25 million. At yung annuity natin, laging yan yung first cause of the gradient, ano? 100 million. Dapat pala negative because we have a decreasing value. So, let us try to rearrange this one. Supposedly, ito nandito. Okay? Kasi ito yung negative gradient. Ito, 100 million. Ito, annuity lang yan. Finding P given A. 10%. 4. So, would this value be equated to $200 million? So, let us try to compute now. Okay, so the first term, 100 million, okay, times, yung formula natin is 1 minus 1.1 raised to negative 4 all over 0.1. So that will be the annuity. And then for the gradient, that is negative because that is a decreasing gradient. Okay. So we have the formula 1.1. Sorry. 9 muna natin yung 1 over I of 0.1. And then 1.1 raised to 4 minus 1 all over 0.1 minus n, this is 4, okay, times 1.1 raised to negative 4. So, ito ba would equate to 200m? So, that will be the question. So, with the computation, we have these values, ano? This shall be $316.99 million minus $109.45 million. So if we're going to get the difference, we will yield to $207.54 million. So that should be our result. Now, if we are going to compare that with 200 million, say 200 million, of course, we can see that this has exceeded, so the amount exceeds $7.5 million dollars. So from the choices, it does not exceed, or it does not equated to 200 million exactly, but actually it has exceeded the approximate amount of 7.5 million dollars. So this shall be the answer. Okay, so that's it for the arithmetic gradient. So we will now have our problems on perpetuity. So for the first problem, if money is worth 12% compounded quarterly, what is the present value of the perpetuity of 1,000 pesos payable monthly? So in this problem, our interest is expressed into quarterly, but our requirement should be in terms of compounding monthly. So basically, we will recall our knowledge in converting the effective rate of interest. By the way, the effective rate of interest is equal to 1 plus R over M raised to M minus 1. So, gawin natin, i-apply natin to sa given na quarterly, and then apply it also to the required compounding monthly. Okay? So, yung EROI for the compounded quarterly, that is equivalent to 12%. So, i-apply lang natin yan. We have 1 plus 0.12. When we talk of quarterly, that is 4 times a year, or the M raised to 4, then minus 1. This is equal to 1. Our requirement is actually I. Okay? Kasi itong I na to is R over M. So, this should be equal to I. And then, pag monthly, we have raised to 12 minus 1. So, if we have this equation now, ito, cancel lang yan. And then, we compute for I. First, we get the numerical value of that one. And this is 1.03, no, raised to 4. Okay. This is equal to 1 plus I raised to 12. Raised to 12. So, both of these side of the equation, we are after I, no? So, therefore, what we do is to raise both sides of the equation by 1 over 12, no? 1 over 12, so that we can eliminate this. So, ano nangyari? We have 1.03. So, this is raised to 4 12th. Tapos, 1 plus I. So, I here can be readily computed. And the value is 0.0099. Okay? So, kapag percent yan, just multiply it by 100. Okay? So, anyway, the present worth in a perpetuity that is equal to A over I. By the way, yung perpetuity, wala siyang future worth kasi nga the timeline or the period is indefinite. So, this an infinite period. So, wala siyang future worth. Present worth lang with this term, no? A over I. So, our annuity is 1,000. We'll just divide this by 0.0099. So this is equal to 100,993.43 pesos. So this is the present worth of a perpetuity with a payable amount 1,000 per period under the given 12% compounded quarterly. Okay, so the answer is this one. So next, so for the next problem, we have here a annual maintenance cost. When we say annual maintenance cost, normally pag hindi given yung ating period, that is a perpetuity. So it is assumed that every year we need to maintain the road section in Tinglayan. So if cost 50,000 at the end of each year to maintain a road section in Tinglayan, if money is worth 10%, how much would it pay to spend immediately to reduce the annual cost to 10,000 pesos? So basically, kakailanganin natin ng 50,000 for the maintenance of the road. Okay, until perpetual period. Okay, so it is deemed to be reduced by 10,000 pesos. Okay, so therefore ang net annual amount is 40,000, no? Okay, kasi nga we get the difference of that one until we reach perpetuity. So ito, the present worth is equal to A all over I. Hence we have 40,000 as the annual requirement for that maintenance, and our I is 10%, that is 0.10, and obviously the answer is 400,000 pesos. So this is the answer. Okay, so moving on to the next problem. Find the present value in pesos of a perpetuity of 15,000 pesos payable in semi-annual. So if money is worth 8% compounded quarterly, okay, the present value is unknown here. Again, perpetuity ang pinag-uusapan dito, but you need to convert the semi-annual compounded interest, compounding interest. So ang given is quarterly. We will get a semi-annual equivalent of that 8% compounded quarterly. So we have 8% compounded quarterly into equivalent 5% compounded semi-annually. Compounded semi-annual. Okay, so we know that the formula of the effective rate of interest is equal to 1 plus R over M raised to M minus 1. So we apply this dun sa given, ano. So we have 1 plus 8%, that is 0.08. Quarterly period occurs 4 times a year, and that would be raised to 4 also. And then 1 plus I, kapag semi-annual, that occurs twice a year. By the way, may minus 1 siya dito, no? May minus 1 din siya dito. Anyway, those entities will just be cancelled right away in the equation. So yung I natin dito is equal to 0.0404. So yung present worth nitong perpetuity is A over I. So our A here is 15,000. Just divide it by the semi-annual compound interest
we have 371,287.13 pesos. So the answer is obviously ito. This one. Okay? And so that's it for the perpetuity problems. So we will now move on to the capitalized cost problems. So depending on the cases, meron tayong case na yung first cost, i-add mo lang yung operations cost. Yung case 2 naman, the first cost, operations and maintenance cost, as well as the replacement cost. So let us have this problem. Determine the capitalized cost of a backhoe costing 2 million pesos with an annual maintenance cost of 200,000. If money is worth 20% per annum. So yung capitalized cost is composing of the first cost. Okay, let us put that into a cash flow diagram. See, meron tayong first cost dito na 2 million. And then, annual maintenance na 20,000 pesos. So, meron siyang annual maintenance na 20,000. Okay. And that will be assumed to be in perpetual time. So, the capitalized cost here is the first cost plus present worth of the maintenance cost. Okay, maintenance cost. So 2 million, okay, plus these are equal amounts in a perpetual. So present worth for a perpetual annuities or perpetuity is equal to A all over I. So we have here 20,000 all over 0.2. We have, so this is supposed to be 200,000 according to the problem. So this is 200. So the maintenance cost is 200. Sorry with that. And to, palitan lang naman natin yan with the value 200,000. So here, obviously this is equal to 3 million pesos. So this must be invested to sustain the backhoe with the annual maintenance cost of 200,000 per year in perpetual terms. So the answer is 3 million pesos. Okay, so moving on to the next problem, we have here a bridge with the first cost of 200 million. So yung life niya is 20 years. If the bridge must be partially rebuilt at a cost of 100 million at the end of each 20 years. So in this case, ito yung case na walang maintenance but we have a replacement cost. Okay, so remember the replacement cost is equal to S all over 1 plus I raised to K minus 1. Okay, so yung S natin is actually equal to 100 million. Okay, and our K is every 20 years, right? So substitute mo lang yan, 100M all over 1.06 raised to 20 minus 1. Okay, and then for the capitalized cost, of course, i-add mo lang naman yung 200 million na first cost mo, tapos i-add mo to. You just add this term, and that's it. Just compute for the capitalized cost is equal to 245.31 million. So ito yun. So this will be the answer for that problem. Okay, moving on to the next. So an item purchased for 100,000. Annual costs are 18,000 pesos with the interest of 8%. What is the capitalized cost of the perpetual service? So madali lang naman to. Capitalized cost is just equal to the first cost plus perpetual cost or perpetuity present worth, that is equal to A over I. So this is actually the maintenance or the annual cost of maintenance, or pwedeng operations. So we just substitute. First cost is 100,000. Yung annuity natin is 18,000. At yung interest is 8%. So basically, we have 325,000 pesos. Okay? So simple as that. Next, Coca-Cola Company uses a type of truck which costs 2 million pesos with life of 3 years and a final salvage value of 320,000 pesos. How much could the company afford to pay for another type of truck for the same purpose whose life is 4 years with a final salvage value of 400,000 pesos? So if money is worth 4%, so in this problem, we shall consider two cash flow diagram. So yung truck na nagkakalaga ng 2 million. So this is the first cost, 2 million. And then after 3 years, magkakalaga na lang siya ng 320,000 pesos. So may bibenta pa niya ng 320k. Okay? So for 3 years. So this is the first cash flow. Ngayon, ano bang equivalent nito? So why do we need to compare it? Because ang unknown dito yung unang presyo. Kasi ito yung bili niya ng unang truck, Ito yung 320,000 na salvage value. So yung pangalawang conditions, or the same truck will be purchased this time, but we do not know yet the first cost of that truck. Say ito, sabihin na natin first cost 1, ito salvage value 1, and then ito first cost 1 is unknown. After 4 years, magiging 400,000 na lang yung value niya. So the same truck but different salvage value and different timeline, So kaya nga sinabi dito, how much could the company afford to pay for another type of truck for the same purpose whose life is 4 years. So 4 years siya. So ibig sabihin niyan, parehas lang yung budget ng truck 1 at yung track 2. Say this is FC2. But the same track yan, ha? The same track. Okay? So, what will be the approach here? Since ang pinag-uusapan natin is salvage value tsaka useful life on both cash flow diagram, meaning we have to replace itong track na to. Okay, so meron tayong replacement cost for 1 and replacement cost for 2. So therefore, the capitalized cost for 1, okay, this shall be equated to the capitalized cost of that condition. So alam naman natin na yung capitalized cost is the first cost plus salvage or replacement cost, ano? Ito yung pang 1, ganoon din to pang 2. Okay? So first cost 2 million. Okay? Replacement cost, yung formula natin, x is equal to s all over 1 plus I raised to k minus 1. I-apply lang natin yan dito. So, ano yung s niya? So, that's the question. So, syempre, mabebenta mo siya ng 320,000 while alam natin na 2 million. So, the net here, the net of this one is actually 2 million minus 320,000. That is equal to 1.68 million pesos. Okay, 1.68. So, we have 1.68 or 1,000 or 1,680,000, okay, divided by 1.04 every 3 years, ano, minus 1. So this is equal to the first cost din ito, kaya lang ito unknown. And then plus we have first cost 2 minus 400,000 all over 1.04 raised to 4 minus 1. So the left hand side of the equation will equate to 15,454,638.65 pesos. So this one plus that expression. So we simplify, no? Ito lang naman ang kailangan i-simplify muna. Of course, we get the LCD. And by the way, sige, computein na natin kung anong value nito. So, anong value nito? We have almost 0.17, ano? Okay. So, lagay na natin 0.1699. So, here, 0.1699 F C2 plus first cost 2 minus 400,000. So, pares lang naman yan. 638.65. So, ito will just have to cross multiply this to that value. So, ito na yung maging left-hand side equation. And then we add the common terms here, no? Magiging 1.1699 FC2 minus 400,000. We transpose this 400,000, magiging positive to the left-hand side of the equation. And eventually combine with 400,000. So, 1.1699 FC2. So, ito. We divide both sides by 1.1699. Okay. Cancel yan. Then, we have SFC2 will be equal to 2,585,778.84. So, 2,585,000. This one. And so the answer is the nearest. So anyway, in terms of selection, we can consider both of these. Okay? So a slight difference on the selection of the answer. So this is the answer, 2,585,778.84. Okay, for the next problem, we have concrete pavement on a street would cost 10,000 pesos and would last for 5 years with negligible repairs. At the end of each 5 years, 1,000 pesos would be spent to remove the old surface before 10,000 pesos is spent again to lay a new surface. So find the capitalized cost of the pavement at 5%. So here, meron tayong first cost kagad na 10,000 pesos. So this would last for 5 years. And then, you need 1,000 pesos. Okay? Siyempre, babakbakin mo yung pavement. And then, magsesemento ka ulit at amount of 10,000 pesos. So, ang replacement cost mo ngayon is magiging 11,000. No? So, this would net to 11,000 for your replacement cost. Again, this is a case wherein we just simply add the first cost plus the replacement cost X. So we have 10,000 A plus 11,000 divided by 1.05 raised to ilang ano ba yan? Taon bago mo palitan, that is raised to 5 minus 1. So the capitalized cost here is equal to 49,814.46 pesos. So the answer is that. Okay? So finally, for this problem on the capitalized cost, find the capitalized cost of an asset whose cost is 100,000 pesos. Salvage value is 10% of the original cost after 15 years. So let us put that into the cash flow. So meron siyang first cost na 100,000. Pwede mo siyang ibenta ng 10% of the original cost after 15 years. So this is after 15 years, ano? magiging amount niya is 10% of the original cost. Ano bang 10% ng 100,000? Okay, that is 10% of 100,000 is equal to 10,000 pesos actually. So we assume an amount of money equivalent to 5%. So again, this is a replacement cost. Okay. So yung capitalized cost mo ngayon is equal to the first cost plus maintenance cost X. So capitalized cost, we have 100,000. Okay. Of course, pag ni-replace mo yan, magkakaroon ka siya ng 100,000 dyan. So therefore, the S here ng replacement cost is 100,000. Of course, mabibenta po siya ng 10,000 all over 1 plus 0.05 raised to 15 less 1. So therefore, the capitalized cost is equal to 183,416.12 pesos. So ito yung answer. Okay, that's it for your capitalized cost problems, and thank you for attending this video session, and have a good day, class.